Drone Vlog number 5.
Hey guys, Adam
and Jay
from the Aeroworks workshop, and today we're doing something a little different. So hold on to your panties, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a bumpy ride. What are we talking about here today, Jay?
We're going to talk about one person in mind.
Right.
And now, who would that be?
Well, if you're on YouTube, which obviously you are because you're watching this video, you probably have come across a gentleman by the name of Casey Neistat.
I love his videos. Did you see that one where he was skiing behind the...
I sure did. Actually, he's a very creative individual. He does a lot of great filming. He's also a brand magnet, and with just this week accumulating over 3 million subscribers,
wow.
Companies see the benefit of sending him products. As a matter of fact, he has a segment he does on his show where he does mail time, and people from all over the world
candy
send him products. They send him candy, they send him parts and pieces and brand recognition, and most recently they send him drones.
How many?
Well, he started out with a few Parrot drones, and then I think he got a hold of a Phantom at some point, started flying and crashing those.
Crashed it.
Yeah, oh yeah. And recently, DJI has jumped on board, and they've sent him at least 3 or 4 P4 or Phantom 4 drones.
Now, I don't know a lot, but I do know that no man needs 7 drones, and I already have 4.
And it's really unfortunate, guys, because companies like us or people like us, we go out and we actually promote the hobby. We report and show the safe uses of drones. We really stress the fact that, don't fly above people, don't fly over highways and things like that. Make sure you're not flying in airspace or above 400 feet. And what do we see in Casey's videos?
All of the above. He's flying in an alleyway with a whole bunch of people there, probably less than 20 feet over their heads, and this alleyway...
Where he's lost control before.
Well, yeah, and the alleyway was only like 25 feet wide, maybe, so that's a real congested area.
City environments as a whole are horrible for GPS. If you're in any kind of a downtown metro area where you've got buildings on both sides of you... Metal, let alone the metal and all the other obstructions, GPS is horrible, because when you're picking up GPS on a copter, let's say any copter for that matter, you're picking up signals from all different angles. Excuse me. And when you have buildings next to you, you're going to lose that signal, even if it's just momentarily. So when people, especially beginners, are used to, oh, I can just let off the sticks and it'll sit there, all of a sudden you lose GPS, that thing goes drifting, hits the side of a building, falls on somebody's head, falls on a car, kills somebody. These are dangerous situations.
Listen, we're just trying to promote safety, and us being commercial operators, we just want to be in compliance with the laws, and we know the laws between commercial drone pilots and hobbyists are different, but again, that's where the problem lies.
And guys, let's jump off that commercial, because I know we preach the commercial thing a lot. We get a lot of comments about that. For this video, I could really care less if you fly commercially. If you're out there as a hobbyist, you've been flying for years, and you're flying safe, more power to you. I don't even care, we don't even care, if you're flying for hire. You know what, go out and do that. If you're doing something wrong, eventually karma will catch up to you. That's your business. But when you're out there doing things that are totally unsafe, and in the case of Casey's videos, if you watch any of them, we're going to put some links down below. If you're flying not only over people, if you're flying in metro areas next to buildings way above 400 feet, and what really gets me as a pilot is when you're flying over the Hudson River, and we've all heard of the Miracle on the Hudson.
Absolutely.
When you're flying over a crowded airway that is already a no-fly zone, and you've got manned helicopters with corporate people, tourists, and other things going on all day long, and you're flying drones at random wherever you think you can just go out and fly, that's putting lives in danger. And that's a big, huge red flag and a no-no. And in my mind, shame on the FAA for cracking down on some guy in Minnesota who's operating a business, trying to feed his family, not doing anything unsafe, but because he's maybe had an aerial video on YouTube
and got paid for it.
They're sending him, cease and desist letters to stop flying his drone commercially. Yet somebody like Casey, who makes over $1 million a year off of YouTube, let alone all of his other endorsements and things that he does, doesn't even get a look at, doesn't even get a letter from the FAA. It's really disheartening.
Well, didn't DJI send them a big box of...
Exactly. Now let's talk about that for a second. Now, we're out constantly trying to comply with the FAA. The FAA has put so many burdens on commercial operators. We have the most experience of anybody. Not us personally, but guys that have been in the industry,
Right.
maybe like Jay and myself, we've flown our seat our whole lives. We know how to fly these things. We're out there operating commercially. We have exemptions. We have insurance. We have the pilot experience. And somebody like DJI, or even the FAA for that matter, they formed the FAA task force just last year. That's when the whole drone registration came out. And who did they put on that task force? Experts in the UAV industry.
Oh, yeah, well, sure.
Like who?
Walmart. GoPro.
That makes sense.
GoPro, right?
Yeah,
that makes
GoPro.
sense.
Best Buy.
Best Buy.
Best Buy UAV experts. I mean, those guys, they're the top tier of UAV industry. So here's the part that really gets us. So you take companies like DJI, who's out there wanting to sell their products. We get it. He is a brand magnet. But at the same time, you're also selling and pushing your product to somebody who's out there doing things totally dangerous with it, targeting videos to millennials, over 3 million or more, because those are just 3 million subscribers.
Right. I mean,
we know from our own channel, over 90% of you viewers aren't even subscribers, which, you know, the subscribe button's down there, by the way. But, you know, when you're out there targeting that audience and you're giving somebody like Casey free drones, we don't get free drones. We're out promoting safe uses of your product. We've spent $30,000+ on drones. We've got Phantom 4s, Inspires, every make and model of Phantom drone that's ever been out. Nobody's ever sent us one single Phantom or a propeller for that matter.
Right.
And we're not asking for charity.
Right.
But when you're sending it to somebody like Casey, who's out there flying recklessly, flying over people, flying near airports, around aircraft, not just near an airport, but actually under other aircraft.
Well, didn't he was flying in New York and crashed under a bridge.
Yeah, he crashed into a bridge.
He's trying to fly into the bridge underneath it and crashed it and had to go and get it.
It is literally right there, just sitting there. It's a brand new Phantom 4 drone, just sitting there.
Yeah, and when you're sending somebody like Casey free drones, and then whether he's giving them away or not, the target audience that you're hitting are these newbies that don't have a clue. They think that what Casey does is awesome and cool. And hey, granted, we'll give all the credit to the DJI product. They take amazing images. That doesn't mean they're doing it safely. Right. And when you're out flying in those, especially places like New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago. Well, I'm talking about places that he specifically.
Oh yeah, no, right.
When you're flying over people, over crowded freeways, under and over bridges, around airports. That is a dangerous situation, and you're only promoting the population of uneducated new drone pilots to think, oh, look what Casey does, and look at these drones that DJI gives him, and they're out there flying recklessly now, and that's the new breed of pilot, and it's a double-edged sword. You're getting lots of publicity, yes, we get that. But you're also getting a whole breed of new pilots. They're going to fly recklessly, bring the hobby down, cause more regulations,
right.
And shame on the FAA, too, for creating a task force full of people that don't have a clue, that are only out there to grease their own skids, so to speak, because they want in on, whether it be Amazon's delivery or Walmart wants to, have delivery at some point. What the hell does Walmart have to do with drone, with UAV?
I see this has got you all riled up.
It does. And it pisses us off because we go out and we promote safe uses.
Right.
We're out training people, educating, teaching them on their products, and then they're sending free products to somebody who goes out and flies like an ass all over, New York City and San Francisco.
Well, and they tell you not over 400 feet and line of sight, which means you should be able to see the drone.
Right.
One of the videos, he's flying from his rooftop, and he's flying completely over the city.
Oh, at least a mile away.
At least a mile away.
Yeah.
And I mean, over all the buildings, all the traffic, all the people on the ground, and I couldn't see it anymore.
No. And believe me, we've all had a crash.
Oh.
Something will fail. A prop will break. A motor will die. And it's only a matter of time. And in fact, in some of his videos, he's already injured people. The guy was trying to catch it and cut his arm up. Granted, we don't know whose fault that was. But any of these other flying escapades, a bird hits a prop. He clips a building or a power line.
Sure.
And that falls down and hits somebody in the head. Now you got 3 million people. Well, whether or not he is going to advertise that or not, but it's only a matter of time before it becomes public that his drone landed on somebody's head and either killed somebody or seriously injured them, that, oh, now we got to have more regulations on, on us operators that are actually doing it safely.
And we're not picking on Casey. Casey, we love your videos.
Exactly.
We just, if you could use it in a positive way,
right,
and promote the safety part of it, and maybe yourself, just when you go to fly, think.
Yeah, use your notoriety to push safety,
right,
not recklessness. There's all kinds of free apps out there you can use to figure out where you can fly. And if you are flying over city streets, just like when they do movie set filming, there's ways to do that safely and legally, more importantly. Right. I'm assuming that you don't have an exemption. I'm assuming that you're not technically operating commercially, although by FAA laws you are, because anytime you accept payment for any kind of a video, whether that be through advertisement, selling a photo.
Well, that was our understanding.
Exactly. And in fact, the FAA was sitting around cracking down on YouTubers, but here's a guy who's more public than anybody out there, and I'm sure that he's not getting cracked down on.
Well, not at this point anyway.
Yeah.
So listen, like I said, we're not picking on Casey because there's a lot of other videos you can go and watch and see almost the same thing. It just so happens that with the amount of viewers that he has, subscribers and everything, it's not promoting the drone. I guess I don't like that word. Just safe usage of them,
Yeah. It's amazing technology. They can do amazing things, but they have to be operated safely. And just, whether you're commercial or hobbyist, right, there's some basic guidelines. Don't fly above 400 feet. And what is that 400 feet number for? Well, because manned aircraft, unless they're taking off or landing, shouldn't be below 500 feet. And in fact, in an area like a crowded area like New York City, they should be 1,000 feet or higher. But 500 feet is where manned aircraft are at. Now, that's different for helicopters.
Right.
Helicopter can buzz right along the water, and they could be buzzing along at 100 knots, and here comes a little white drone, and bam, it goes through the windshield. A helicopter does not have more than a second or two to recover, and they're going to be in the water. And hopefully, nobody gets killed. But in most cases, that's probably going to be the end result. So don't fly above 400 feet. Don't fly over people unless they're on a closed set and they are aware of the filming. And I guarantee in all the cases we've seen in his videos, that's not the case.
Right.
You can't be flying over an LA traffic, I-5 in LA, or flying over downtown New York City over cabs and people on bikes and everything, and have everybody know that you're there. In most cases, they don't even know you're there because they don't hear it.
Right.
So, don't fly over people, don't fly above 400 feet, and stay out of airspace. And in New York City, or even LA for that matter, look at a no-fly zone. You're pretty much in no-fly zones everywhere.
The whole city.
Right.
We looked on there, and there was a little strip here and there that was actually not a no-fly zone.
Right.
Other than that, most of the city is a no-fly zone.
And there's reasons for that. There's reasons they don't want drones in the same airspace as helicopters. And as you know, in New York City, there's landing pads on the top of buildings. They're flying up and down the Hudson.
Commuters.
There's medevac helicopters. There's police choppers. There's all these different things that don't have to fly above 500 feet. So even though the hobbyist recommendation is below 400, that doesn't mean that, I saw a helicopter, he was at 300 feet, he's breaking the law. No, the helicopter can fly wherever he wants because they can take off and land pretty much wherever they want. You got to use common sense. And in the case of the videos that we saw around the Hudson, if you saw a helicopter flying, you should have landed and waited for that to pass.
Right.
But to continue on right down the middle of the Hudson with helicopters passing over the top, totally dangerous situation.
Yeah, and the laws are different between commercial pilots and hobbyists. Hobbyists have a bigger range of things they can do, but let's still just common sense. That's the main thing about this whole video is safety and common sense. That's what's got Adam all riled up, as well as me. But you can tell he's a little passionate about this, to say the least. So common sense is a lost art now. But let's just think about what we're doing, where we're flying, and the people we're flying over, because you don't want to hurt an innocent person. Because trust me, we could use this thing for 1,000 different good rescues and dropping first aid kits to people or ropes to people stranded.
Finding people.
Rarely do you hear about that.
Right.
But crash this into a crowd of people in the middle of New York City.
It'll be on every news channel and every paper and everything else.
Absolutely.
And we'll have people hounding for more regulations. We get the comments in our own videos saying they should be illegal. You should have to have a drone pilot's license. All that came about because of dumb videos on YouTube for the most part. I mean, we've been flying RC for 25 plus years. There was helicopters, big gas-powered, way more dangerous than these, carrying big cameras and gear that would have killed somebody if they landed on them. and there was never regulations, and that was because A, you couldn't afford one of those things.
Right.
They weren't very readily available. There was only a handful of companies in the whole U.S. that could fly one of those. But now anybody with a few bucks, a credit card, can run down in Best Buy and blast off with no experience. They don't know their ass from a hole in the wall or which way's front or back, and woo, look at the video I'm getting, and they're putting people in danger. And guys, sorry to preach it, sorry to be passionate about it, but you know, we're trying to be here to protect this hobby and prove that we can use these things for common, everyday purposes and positive uses. And when somebody like Casey has that kind, and anybody for that matter on YouTube that has a following, if you're not showing the good things that you can do with them, you're only promoting the bad. And unfortunately, that's what news people love. They love the drama and the, just like viral videos. We just saw the Chewbacca video this week, right?
Yeah.
There's a gal who puts a Chewbacca mask on and laughs in her car for 10 minutes.
140 million.
She's been on talk shows, 140 million views. I mean, I would love to get that kind of thing, showing the positive uses, but I guess you got to do stupid things on YouTube to get that notoriety. So guys, like and subscribe our video. Leave your comments whether you like us or not.
Hey,
whether
we're
you
up.
have an item. Make sure you stay watching. We're going to have some great new products coming up. We've got Loom Cube as a company that's going to be providing some gear for the P4. We're going to be showing you that.
And FPV glasses.
We've got a new episode coming up on FPV. We're going to be showing you all the popular glasses as well as monitors out there, what FPV is, things like the FPV racers that are out there now. So we'll be showing you that. Make sure you like and subscribe. That's probably going to be one of our next couple videos coming out.
Right.
Anything else, Jay?
Yeah, I'd like to thank, we've gotten actually some good responses from our international people, Canada and Australia. So we're looking into laws and what goes on in your country, and we'll probably try and do a little bit of something for you guys because you have asked if we could go over some of that. So, but we'd like that you're watching us and you're getting some information from us. This video is going to be a little long today, but
and speaking of the international guys, if you're a guy that you feel you're pretty confident on those local laws and regulations, shoot me an email. I'll put a link down in the description, and maybe we'll incorporate what you send us. Maybe even we can even have them on the show or something.
Sure, right? Yep.
Because we'd love to spread the word in other countries. We just don't know all the regulations, and we don't want to misquote anybody on what's outside of the U.S. I know Canada has a little bit better regulations on the commercial side. I don't know exactly what they all are, so we don't want to misquote something. We're pretty familiar with the U.S. regulations as commercial operators ourselves. So I guess that's a wrap. Sorry for the rant. Stay tuned. We're going to have, like I said, a lot of really cool information coming up. Casey, fly those drones safe. We love your videos, but stop flying over people and over airports and everything else.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. That's it.
I am literally the world's worst drone pilot.